Hey everybody, Greg, Shep, and Jason from ExtraTime. Welcome to Act 2. What floor, sir? Soccer is a streaky game, as we all know. Teams' fortunes rise and fall as their form improves or dips. And on Tuesday's show, we looked at the teams at the top of each conference. Now we'll look at those teams that are sort of bunched around the playoff lines. Some of them are doing well, and some of them aren't. So let's start with Seattle. Not really going the way Seattle wants right now. They're 1-3-3 in their last 7. They're on the verge of actually falling out of the playoffs right now, Jason.
Yeah, they definitely had trouble scoring. I feel like they're creating pretty good opportunities.
You talk about Seattle, yes, they've had their offensive woes, but defensively, in the first 45 minutes against Toronto, they were absolutely putrid. I mean, Toronto should have had 3 or 4 goals, so Seattle, they're shaky.
But Jason also has a good point. They had chances at the end of that game to get the win.
They deserve to lose that game.
Okay. Fair enough. That's the way it goes. Well, they need to turn it around if they're going to solidify that playoff spot and become only the second expansion team ever to make the playoffs. So they're going to have to do something now. Right in behind Seattle, another team that's not doing well right now, Chivas USA. 2-5 in their last 7 games, Chivas. They lost the Super Clasico, which of course is a sort of a big hit, if you will, because they never want to lose to the Galaxy, and they've sort of dominated in recent years. And they've slipped, if you look at them, they've slipped from 2nd to 5th over this season right now. So what's going on with them? How do you right this ship, Chase?
I don't know that Chivas, they're kind of a team that I haven't really believed in this year, and now they're starting to prove me right. 0-5-0.
Congratulations.
You take out the 2 wins they had against New York and Toronto.
Yeah.
Okay, they're 0-5-0 with 0 goals scored and 12 goals against.
That's not good.
I mean, if the only teams you're beating are New York and Toronto on the road, you have problems. And they're not scoring goals, which I think is also a problem.
They passed the ball beautifully. That was a joke. They're missing Ante Razov.
Yes,
they now have Zach Thornton injured, so I think this is a team that really has insurmountable challenges.
Well, a team that has seemed to get over their challenges, at least in the past week, was Real Salt Lake. 2 emphatic wins for RSL this past weekend. They're 3-1-1 in their last 5 games. You know, we sort of off the record in a way talked a little bit about Jason Kreis and whether he was in trouble at all like that. This was maybe 2 or 3 weeks ago. Obviously, that's changed now with these 2 wins. They're they're in the playoffs if the playoffs started today.
I don't think there's any question. In Major League Soccer, if you as a coach can get your team to compete and fight hard and play as a unit for 90 minutes, you're going to do well. And it seems like Jason Kreis has resurrected that spirit in his team. No bonehead mistakes, no silly goals that they've given up. They've gotten some offensive productivity, so right now things look good.
That's true. Robbie Finley's starting to score goals. Pablo Campos, who came over in a trade, he's started to do pretty well too.
Yeah, I'm not sold on Salt Lake right now either, and I'll tell you why. They beat Chivas team that we just said can't really score.
Yep.
Kansas City, a team that can't really score. So I'm not really sold on Real Salt Lake really being back right now. I don't think they can really afford to lose Morales, to have Morales out for too much longer. Mm-hmm. I think they need him back. They need Yura Movsisyan back. If they have their full team healthy, I think they're a playoff team.
You think they need Movsisyan the way Movsisyan's been playing of late? And I mean, it seems to me when I watch him, he's checked out already.
No, I don't believe that. I think he's a guy who can create a goal from nothing. I think he
can, but he isn't.
He's thinking about doing it.
I agree with you.
He's been hurt.
But he's not doing it.
He went out and got hurt because he was hustling so much. This isn't a guy who's checked out. Listen, this is a guy that they need if they're going to have an impact in the playoff race.
Big difference. Clint Mathis with the shaved head. I think
he's faster now.
You can tell how serious he is.
He shaved his head. It's got to be faster. Well, in New England, it's a guy who hasn't shaved his head and probably never will, Showery Joseph, who's leading the way as they are streaking 5-1-1 in their last 7 games. They have games in hand. If they were to win all their games in hand right now, they would be in first place in MLS, not just the Eastern Conference. New England looks dangerous again.
Yeah, I don't see them
winning out. You're not sold on them either.
No, I don't see them winning out for the rest of their schedule. But after watching them the last few weeks, I do think they're better. I don't think they're going to rely on Wells Thompson scoring that goal week after week. Goal. So I think Shawry does it. I think Ralston back on the field definitely brings them to another level. They're definitely a competitor in the East now.
They have to be considered a competitor. Sure.
If Bruce Arena isn't Coach of the Year, then Stevie Nicol is, because really with a team that was decimated by injuries, and everybody has their injuries, they have nobody up front. I mean, so he's really got them, I think, very organized in the back. Matt Reese, back to top form. Very tough defensively in front of the back four. They're a tough team to beat.
Yeah, they've got some weapons as well when they think that they can change it, when they go from the speed guys and then maybe slow it down again to a more deliberate game.
I think they have a month ahead right now where they have a chance to gain a lot of points. They play Kansas City, at Chivas, at New York, Seattle, and Dallas. I think they really need to win a bunch of those games, maybe get 12 points out of those games. Then they end with at Colorado, Columbus, Chicago, and at Columbus again. So that's a tough way to end the season.
Right.
But so they need to do it this month. They need to step up, start winning games.
Well, last week you mentioned that Freddie Ljungberg was the key to Seattle's playoff run. And I think we actually probably agreed that this was the case. Now, this past weekend, we watched Freddie Ljungberg, and all Freddie Ljungberg was doing, it seemed, was yelling and screaming at the referee, which got us thinking about referees and the designated players. Beckham, Blanco, Ljungberg, all of these guys berate the referees a lot. So, do you think that the DPs should get Michael Jordan rules, if you will? Should they be given a little preferential treatment from the referees?
I think to some extent you don't want Beckham sitting out or Blanco sitting out because you gave him a yellow card for talking. But at the same time, you don't want to let them get away with anything and then go off and card Brian Namath when he gets upset at you. So I think you need to let them play. You need to let them be creative. But I don't, as far as them mouthing off to you, a card's a card. They shouldn't be mouthing off to the ref the whole game anyway.
You don't believe him. You don't agree.
No, listen, I like that long-winded explanation. Here's the bottom line. Superstars in any sport all over the world, they get calls. Yeah. I mean, that's normal in every sport. Soccer, no different. And nobody's paying to come see the referee. So the yapping, I agree with Jason. I mean, that's unnecessary. But refereeing, officiating is all about respect. If they have the respect of the superstars aren't going to yap.
But that's my problem is I feel like they don't have the respect.
They don't.
And I don't know if that's the referee's fault or if it's that the stars come in and don't give the respect right from the start.
Look, where I want them protected is on hard studs-up tackles. I don't want to see fans and teams lose the Blancos and Juan Pablo Angel, Scalotto, David Beckham, Landon Donovan. Those players the fans pay to see. Ljungberg as well.
And a good example that I thought of was earlier in the season we talked about it when Freddie Montero came out and he was playing this real attractive soccer, and then all of a sudden in the next few games he's getting cracked. And
welcome to the league, son.
Right. That's the thing that the referee needs to look for, and they need to basically give those players the freedom to be able to play. They need to protect them from any sort of hacks.
Well, we'll see what happens actually on Wednesday night when Freddie Montero and Freddie Ljungberg and Seattle Sounders take on DC United in the U.S. Open Cup final at RFK. There's already a battle between the GMs going on, so you can just imagine what's going to happen on the field. On Thursday's show for Act 3, we're going to be looking at the crunch match for the U.S. against El Salvador in World Cup qualifying.